Yeah.
I think poker needs a handful more of those characters and those personalities, as long as it's not directly in your face type
Of
stuff.
course, yeah. No Will Kassouf, but a little bit of Grinder is great.
Exactly. Yeah, the grinder stuff where he's just like
this year
he gets bet into and he's just like, let's go.
Yeah, he's sitting there with a flashlight.
He hasn't even made an action. He's telling his rail to fucking get hyped, and he just says, "I raise," and the guy's just like, "Well, you clearly can't have it here." I mean, granted, I'm not folding ace-9 either.
Me and my buddy, we making all of this money. Yeah, I know it's rude to be bragging. They never catching us slacking. Me and my buddy.
All right, guys, welcome back. Table One Podcast. Co-host Justin Young, other co-host Art Parman. Very special guest today, Jesse Lonis.
Hello, how's everyone doing?
Fucking great. The series just ended. I don't even miss poker right now.
No, I know. Yeah, I'm a little addicted. So even after it's over, I'm like, all right, what's next? I'm ready to go get it. But I feel that for sure.
I played a little bit on Phenom, little cash, and then I played. They had like a circuit ring on WSOP last night, which I played, and the whole time I was just hating myself. Oh no. I busted 2 bullets in about 14 minutes, and I was just like at the bar because that's what I do.
Yeah.
I play online poker. I just won table at the bar.
Yeah,
and I was like, man, I ran bad, and I was like, oh, I didn't run bad at all. After like 20 minutes of thinking about it, I was like, I played like an asshole.
I was in there too with you. I played the circuit too. I went the night before. I got 3rd in the circuit ring, and then yesterday I got like 15th. So I was making runs in it. I was trying.
All right. Man, what's your name on there for those who don't know?
Dangerous 22.
Dangerous. All right, I got to know where Dangerous 22 comes from.
Honestly, my friend, I remember I was making it, and I was like, "What would be a good name for me?" And he's like, "You should just call it Dangerous because you never know what you're gonna do." So I was like, "You know what? It's good." And then 22 is my favorite number.
Okay, I was going to say the first 1 through 21 were all taken. You're like Dangerous 1. Damn it!
No,
Damn it.
no.
All right, Dangerous 22. All right, I like it. So I'm sure you've watched all of our podcasts. We do appreciate the support,
of course.
But just in case you hadn't, we typically take our viewership back to like when you were a tiny gorilla, and like see how you like kind of like got into this stupid role of gambling that we all are addicted to.
Yeah.
So tell me a little bit about like your upbringing a little bit. Where'd you grow up?
So I grew up in upstate New York, near Syracuse, Utica, New York, right in between Syracuse and Albany. For people that don't really, not many people know, they hear New York, they think New York City only. So there's a whole nother 90% of the state. And
so you're a St. Bonaventure fan, a Buffalo Bills fan?
No, actually,
none of
that. So Bills would be my second favorite football team. I actually got very lucky. My grandparents raised me, and my grandfather was a diehard Raiders fan. So when I was like 4 years old, I was a Raiders fan, and only like 1 or 2 other people in the whole state that I knew were Raiders fans, and it aligned nicely because when I moved to Vegas, the Raiders moved the same year, so it was kind of like destiny.
Run good.
Yeah, that was very run good because like I always wanted to go to the games, never got to go in Oakland, and now they're right in my backyard, so I get to go to like 5 games a year until they can't make the playoffs, and I stop going.
A true diehard Raider fan, guys.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm a huge Broncos fan. There you go.
Oh, okay, there you go. Yeah.
Obnoxiously so, probably.
Don't walk out.
Yeah, right. I actually knew that. I remember. Yeah. It's all good. But so I grew up in upstate New York. My grandparents raised me. I was born in Alaska, actually, and my dad got in some legal troubles there. So when I was like 3 years old, I got shipped back to New York to live with my grandparents, which was probably the best thing that could have happened because he was a wild man at that time. So,
he was Dangerous 21.
He was Dangerous 1. Yeah, for sure. So, yeah.
All right. Well, you can just say go fuck off. But like, so what did your dad get in trouble for?
No, it's all good. He had an alcohol problem a lot, and he got
go on.
Yeah. So he was in Alaska. I mean, he was a roughneck, is what they call him. He worked on oil rigs, logging. He worked in the sea. Did like all what's the deadliest catch? He did all those things that you see. The toughest jobs is what he did. So when those guys do work, they do that, and the other part of their life is pretty much drinking. And so after he got drunk one time, he decided to drive his truck back to the house and ran through a house. Yeah, drinking, and luckily no one got hurt. And then he got out of the truck, locked his 4-wheel tires in. Back then you had to lock in the 4-wheel drive.
I had one of those. Yeah.
Yeah. So he had a Dodge Ram. He locked in his things, got back in his truck, drove home like nothing happened.
Oh my God.
The Alaska State Troopers came and he was drunk trying to put up arrest. It took like 7 cops to arrest him. And yeah, that's how that was like his like 3rd or 4th DWI. So that one put him away for like some time. So that's when I got shipped away to my grandparents.
So was it your dad's parents or your mom's parents?
It was my dad's parents.
Okay.
Yeah, that ended up taking me in. And like I said, that was probably the best thing that could have happened for me. Yeah.
So how was childhood like being raised by grandparents?
That was a blessing. I got spoiled, like, you know, how grandparents do.
Yeah.
I grew up in the country, kind of. So I grew up riding 4-wheelers, playing football, playing sports, and all that was great. And my grandmother, she was on the internet before most people. So that's where my poker journey began, was my grandma was playing like full tilt poker while she would.
What was her screen name?
I don't even know.
Oh my gosh.
Probably
I really
Granny 1944 or something. But no,
great.
she sold items on eBay too.
A hustler. I like it.
She was a hustler,
Yeah,
yeah. And but her favorite thing to do was play poker. So she would sell her items and then she'd have the poker up. And I would be the little kid running in the background just watching. And eventually I started playing, just getting the game, learned it pretty quick. So she would take breaks and I would take over on the computer. And it could have been play money. It could have been 2 cent, 5 cent. I don't even know. But so from 9 years old, 10 years old, I was already seeing hands and putting in a little bit of volume. So,
shit. That's awesome, by the way.
Yeah, that was.
So was your granddad like cool with all this? Was he like kind of a part of the gambling?
My grandpa, he was just a hardworking, tough guy. He didn't sit home much at all. He was kind of gone in the days, like, and he was pretty much doing side jobs for other people. He would be the guy that would just work for free all the time. Like if he's seen something that needed to be done, he would just do it and do it for free.
Country neighbors, that's what they do.
Exactly.
Yeah, right.
He was just, you know, and then he'd go and work on his buddy's farm down the road. So he would take me there, and you know, I was doing farm work from a young age too with him. So he was kind of the opposite of my grandma. He didn't care about technology at all. Didn't even like to look at it. He liked watching Raiders football games, and drinking Miller High Life and Raiders football games, and work was his life. So
did he gamble at all? Or
so yeah, actually our family trips when I was a kid were trips to Atlantic City. It was like a 5-hour drive, and I still remember those car rides, like, you know, it was amazing times. But we would load up the van 6 a.m. We'd be in Atlantic City by 11 a.m. and both of them would be at the slots, and us kids would be in the hotel room jumping on the bed. And then at night, my grandpa would always bring a bucket of quarters, because back then it was all quarters. Yeah, you got
one arm bandit and it spits out like a fucking coin.
So when we're a kid, like, he would come up with that bucket of quarters, and you're like in heaven, you know, you're sitting there thinking you're the Monopoly man, rich as hell. Like,
he dumps them out. He's like, find anything 1964 or earlier.
Yeah,
bring it to me.
No, for sure. You know, so that was yeah, my childhood was kind of around casinos, like just running around Atlantic City, the boardwalk, and just seeing slot machines and all that. You know, it's kind of, you know, again, it lined up my life pretty nicely to my adulthood.
So running into high school or whatever, was there dreams of like college, or like was it just like, I've been playing poker with my grandma since I was 9. Like, I know what I'm doing.
Honestly, so when I got in high school, poker wasn't even a thought. You know, it was I would play still random tournaments on vacation. Like if like family or friends were doing anything together, I would play, and I would always do well. It seemed like anytime I played, I would win. Like my uncle would have like little tournaments with his friends, and I remember it was like a $50 buy-in. He bought me into
$50.
Yeah,
Holy
exactly.
fuck.
Back then it was big. Yeah, and all his friends were mad because I beat him, and he kept the money and like gave me like $50 back, and like they were like, "Nah, this ain't fair." You know, I still remember that, and yeah. So it wasn't really, that was the only poker experience. Other than that, I was full on. I thought I was going to the NBA. You know, like any kid playing sports, I was like either NFL or NBA was I was good at football and basketball. And
what positions?
For football, it was defensive end and tight end. And basketball, I played pretty much any
Swing
position.
or,
yeah, I could play 4 to 1 pretty much.
Oh, wow. Even 1. All right. Sick.
Yeah. And the older I got, I started playing against bigger guys. I would play shooting guard and 1, but when you're where I'm from, I was like a 4 because I was bigger than most of the people. Right. So yeah, so mostly sports was pretty much what I thought I was going to do. But once that competitive thing died down, I had to fill it with something, and poker came back in.
Yeah, I read some stories about your childhood where you were getting into fights on the basketball court to kind of harden that chip on your shoulder.
Yeah, that was, any fights, usually that was after high school. That was, okay. I moved to New York City right after high school. After I realized I probably wasn't going to get a D1 scholarship for basketball, I was like, I didn't have the money to pay for myself. So I was like, I'm going to go straight to work. And I went to New York City and started working construction right away. And while I was there working construction, I played basketball, and I lived in the Bronx. And where I was living I was in an okay neighborhood, but you still heard gunshots every night that were probably a couple miles away. So, but where I played basketball was like the most competitive games were in the worst neighborhoods. And, I still remember it's pretty crazy. It's like out of a movie, but going to the courts, it would be like 40 people there, and the sidelines would be like a bunch of Jamaicans and, gang members. Like there was a lot of guns and stuff on the sideline, but the basketball was like different level, and it turned me into like a way better basketball player too, because I was used to like kind of white boy basketball, sure. Upstate New York, and this like brought the best out of me. And once I played that for a while, I was like, I need to go back to college and play because I'm ready to like dominate. And so that's what brought me back up to Upstate. I went to Upstate to play college basketball. And
where'd you go? And I assume you got a full full ride, D2, D3 or something?
It was D3. It was a JUCO school. So it's called Herkimer County is the school. And they're every year they're like top 5 in the nation usually, and they travel, and they're like for D3, it's like the best school. They get all the New York City kids that don't have the grades to make it to D1, and that's where they go first, and then they go to D1 programs after. So it was really competitive and really good. But even from my first like scrimmage with the team, I just remember like the coach was up top watching. I was like, all right, I got to show out, and I just dominated like everybody. It felt like I was just, I was a level ahead, and it was from playing like all those games, and just like I was definitely ready, but that was short lived too.
Well, what happened?
Yeah. So I like 4 months into college, I was I got mixed up with a wrong situation and ended up getting jumped in this small like campus. These kids tried robbing me for money I had on me and weed at the time, and got jumped by like 4 or 5 dudes in this small ass little dorm or whatever. And then a week later, I caught 2 of them on the campus and ended up fighting 2 of them, and it was all on video and stuff. Oh. And it was pretty bad. The gorilla went gorilla mode and slammed one kid's head off the concrete. The other kid started whatever, and this was all on camera. So,
do you have a copy of the video?
Well, here's a funny story about that. Is the dean of my college? It's like 20 minutes from where I grew up. So the dean of the college actually wrestled with my father when they were young. We went to different schools, but they always wrestled at the same meets.
Yeah, same weight class.
And the bar my dad would go to in the town over, the dean of that school would go to too. So like a month after all this happened and I got kicked out and stuff, he's like, "Hey Mike," that's my dad's name. He's like, "Hey Mike, I'm sorry about having to kick your son out of college, but if you've seen the footage, you would understand, like, we had to do it." And he goes, he's not going to, be in college longer, but on the bright side, your son is one hell of a fighter. He goes, and he's like, there's probably always a career he could find in that if he can't make it anywhere else. Like, and it was just funny because my dad like came home. He's like, "Yeah, so I talked to the dean. He told me this." And I was like, well, shit happens. And it was kind of, again, everything happens for a reason, but this was a blessing too, because when I was in college, I was playing poker at Turning Stone Casino, and it was kind of like I was skipping classes to play more poker. And now it kind of gave me the opportunity to try to focus on poker only, which was a disaster. And I lost all my money like 100 times and would go broke and get jobs and work for 2 weeks, get that first 2-week check, boom, right back up to the Turning Stone, would run it up, lose it all, boom, get another job. You know, I worked everything from being a busser in Cooperstown at the Baseball Hall of Fame. They have like the place called the Otisaga where all the Hall of Famers stay. It's like a hotel there. I would work there. That was my longest job. I had that for like 2 months, but still, you know, it wasn't long. And then I remember I worked at Walmart Distribution Center. That was anybody that does that job, God bless them. Walmart treats their employees in there like literal slaves. And it's like you have to fill a quota. And I remember like, you know, you got to fill your load for the day. And that was horrible. So don't do that.
Just a quick break here, guys, to tell you about the new promotion that we are doing at Phenom Poker. We are giving away 175 USDT per week to the top 3 rake earners that came through our referral channel. So if you want to play on Phenom Poker and you want to get a little bit of money back, if you earn the most rake in August each week, you will get 100 USDT. Second place gets 50, third place gets 25, and we're doing that every week. That's pretty much all that we get from them. Actually, it's more than we get from them for our current referral pool. So we're paying out of pocket just to try to get you guys on there to check out the software because they have come a long way on the software and they've added tournaments now.
And not only that, guys, if you're a first-time depositor, you get 200% rake back right away. So just up to $2,000. So you can get up to $4,000 if you play high enough. So just get on there, get some money in there. And between the rake back and our generous promotion, it's tough to go broke. Almost impossible.
Almost impossible. Yep. It measures Monday to Sunday, I think, is the same way that Phenom does their token. So every Monday, we'll be putting out a tweet or we'll actually have a website, table1.vegas/rake. So you go there, you can see all the details about the promotion and you can sign up through there too. But you got to sign up through our link or you do not qualify. And if you already have signed up through our link, you automatically qualify because you're in there. So get to gambling.
See you guys at the tables. So how old were you when you got kicked out of, released from school?
From college. So I was 19, 20.
Okay, you're still that young. Okay.
Yeah, I was young because I graduated high school at 17.
Oh, yeah.
I moved to the city, lived there for like a year and a half, 2 years, and then went back to college. And I was only there for like 4 months before I got kicked out.
Yeah. Too good of a fighter.
Yeah. But that's where the poker journey started back up completely.
Oh yeah.
And that was all live, all cash games? Because I noticed your first like online your first Hendon Mob Cash was like a $20 tournament in 2020, I think.
So that funny story about that too is I don't think that was me. Or if it was, I was on a lot of drugs or a lot of alcohol. And I'm from that area, but I've never I don't remember playing at Casino Niagara in my whole life, and that's where it says it's from.
Okay.
And I know that casino, my grandmother, you know, again, like they gambled, so like they traveled there sometimes. I went there when I was a kid, but unless I was at like some party at Syracuse College and on like which could have happened because I used to go to Syracuse College and party a lot, and I could have got really fucked up one night and completely blanked out. Maybe Xanax, something, who knows? But like it had to be something strong, and I may have cashed the tournament there because it's on my Hendon Mob, but I don't remember that one. So other than that one, because if you look, it's that one, and then I don't play a tournament for whatever, but I don't remember playing that tournament. So I guess that it is my first cash.
Okay.
I don't remember.
Great first cash.
Yeah.
I don't remember.
Yeah.
How old are you for the fans?
29.
29. Okay.
Yeah. Turned 30 in a couple months. September 30th. I'll be 30.
Congrats. Yeah.
Nice. So you had like 3 or 4 or 5 years of just running it up and running it down until you
yeah,
trying to do the math.
No, you're good. Yeah. From 20, like when I started again after college, from that time till I was like 22, 23, again, I played a lot of No Limit. And then like after a year and a half playing No Limit, there was always a 20-40 limit hold'em game that they would play like every day. And then on Fridays, they'd play 50-100 limit. Jesus. And
It's a big game.
yeah, for at that time it was for sure. Yeah. And I would always like see these guys playing all the time, and I was like, dang, like, there was always so many chips on the table. I would play 2-5 and 1-2, but the guys I was playing 2-5 with, like, in upstate New York, it's the worst no limit games ever because it's a very poor area and people care so much about their money. So if you're playing 2-5 no limit there and you get it in for more than $200, you're running into Queens Plus.
Yeah, it's
and if
2002 poker. Yeah.
Yeah. And if you've seen my game, it's not going to do well. Short stack, because I'm in there with like 7-5 off trying to crack these guys, and it's just like, not working because we're not deep enough, and it's like
there's no antes.
There's no antes, and it's just not, whatever. It's just exactly, they're just sitting there literally the game was me. These guys, it was funny. They had like an ongoing joke. These older guys, there was like 6 of them, and they were all over 60. And, 3 of them would literally have their newspaper, would be reading newspaper. The other guys, still, I love these guys. Every time like they hear me, they're always reaching out to me and like, hoping the best and everything. But they had an ongoing joke that like, they would wait for me to start the game for sure. And I was young, but they'd be like, Jesse, we used to say like, we had no idea how, you'd come here and we could tell it was your last dollar because you'd buy in for $500 and then you'd buy in for $300 and then you'd buy in for like $88 and then you'd be gone. But then 2 days later, you'd always show up. And our joke was that you had a safe in your basement just filled with money that was like, that was this, that I would go and pull out money, when they didn't know, like I would go and work my ass off or get the money back. And yeah, so I was playing that game and poker was kind of miserable to me at that point. I knew I loved it, but when you were just losing every session. But then eventually I got recruited for that 2040 game by my buddy Brian Volek, and it was the best thing that happened to me because they called me the recruit because they recruited me, obviously. Makes sense. And very tricky name. And after I started playing that game, of course, I'm going to lose at first because it's a limit game. It's completely different. But after probably 4 or 5 months, something with that style of limit hold'em, it clicked in my brain, and I was able to full ring. I want to be as good, but once the game got short-handed, my aggression paid off because people are over-folding, and now you're stealing $30 at a time, which at the time is like, huge for me. And that game made me fall back in love with poker, and it kind of got me a base. I started seeing so many flops. I got better at ranges and knowing when, you know what I mean? That was just the one that kind of made me a better player. And eventually they opened a new casino in Schenectady where Sean Deeb lives, like right down the road from Deeb, called Rivers Casino. And they started getting New York City traffic there. So they had 2-5 games, but it was like instead of 500 max, it was 1,000 max buy-in. And I went back to no limit because I was like, these games look way better. And they were getting New York City traffic because it was like only 2 hours away. And that was the closest casino to the city now at that point. So the games were just unbelievable. And now I'm playing and people are putting in $1,000 with like 6-7 off compared to the guys that were only playing kings. And now these were my type of people.
Yeah.
I was like,
now
okay.
You feel like the type player.
Exactly. Now I'm like, okay. And like I said, I was playing limit, so I got my ranges a little better, knowing, when I'm supposed to open from where. And I started dominating those games, and that's kind of like where my role, then eventually I built up like 60, 70,000 from playing cash games. And I was, my friend, my Dominican friend, Gilberto, who was really good tournament player at the time. Anytime they had like a 400 or 600 buy-in, I still didn't play tournaments at this time, but I would go and play cash games and sweat them and stuff. And this guy got first. Like, if his Hendon mob actually at the time was insane because it would be a $600 tournament, he'd get first for $35K, $400 tournament first for $28K. And I started going with him, and I'd go to the cage after, and he's cashing out every time and getting like $35K. And this was like a lot of money at the time. And I'm like, dude, what the heck? Like, how do you win all of them? And he's like, bro, like, you got to start playing. I'm like, it fits your style. And he spoke broken English, so I could understand it, but it was like half Dominican, half English. It was like a broken whatever, but I understood him perfect. And then he took me to Atlantic City because they had a big tournament series there. And it was my first time traveling for a tournament, and they had $400, one of their big field it had like 350K up top or something.
Sure. Yeah.
And this was my first time seeing the tournament scene. And I remember walking into the room, and it's the first time you hear all the chips, and it sounds like
buzz.
Yeah, buzz, rain. And I just remember like it was like freaking heroin, like getting in my arm. I'm just like, wow, this is like heaven. And I put my 400 in. I got to play that tournament, and it started with a jungle. And before I knew it, you know, there was like 200 people left, and I'm doing great in chips. And I still remember the bad beat from that tournament. I don't know if it's your first one, but I'll always remember I had 10-9 suited, and I'm one of the chip leaders, the only guy that covered me at the table. Like, we're both doing really well. And I end up having, you know, Jack 8-7-6 board with a flush draw on the turn. I remember I like bet like 2x piling because I was scared. I just wanted him to fold. Dude calls me a king, queen of hearts. I'll never forget. And it was like Jack 8-7-6, 2 hearts. And he's like, oh, I know you're ahead, but I got 2 overs and a flush draw. and he calls it off. Some old man, boom, hits the flush. You know, his overs are dead, obviously. I have a straight. And that, you know, the river came, and I was like, oh, and I got like 180th place or something. But in my head, I was like, dang, I almost won, you know? Like,
you hold there, it's all over.
Exactly. In my head, I'm thinking it's over. And that was just enough to be like, I'm going to do this. This is tournaments is what I want to do. I can tell, you know, and again, it's in cash games, especially for someone who didn't have much money, it's hard to get really rich for me at that time with not enough roll to really, you know, I could easily go busto, and I knew that.
Tournaments are parlay tickets, and you know, you're playing money line on cash games. I mean,
exactly. And I needed the parlay. So I was fully invested, and I was like, all right, I'm going to move out west. And that's where, and then
you started cashing like a few.
I mean, there was a lot. Like, I went on this like a thing. There was like, he had 16 pages. That's the
that is true. But I was going to say he was cashing like at the beginning, and you started going a little, like I could feel like the little run of like from $300 tournaments, $400 tournaments. And then you got like 11K score, and then you like won something for 20K or something like that. And then, but I'm like looking at the dates, and this is like February 2020. And I'm like, oh, COVID's coming. Like, but how did that affect like your grind? Cause you were like building momentum, and then all of a sudden everything shuts down.
I think any negatives that have happened in my life, you know, I try to make them positives. So I think it's important to have that glass half full. So when COVID happened, you're right. I literally just started getting my foot in the door and started playing tournaments, and I went to a series, and I dominated. Like, I played like 6 tournaments and felt like 4 of them I made like top 3 final tables with like over 200 people in each. So I was like, it just felt like I had something. And then, boom, COVID happened, and we were all locked in the house. But this was actually a time for me to master tournaments, and I just started playing online, and I would play like 12 to 14 tables of ACR from whatever the highest buy-ins I would play was like $55. And then I would play as low as like $5 buy-ins and just have multiple screens and just perfect the game. And I would always have Triton and Poker Go on like a iPad right next to it. So I would play my online poker, and I would be watching all the best. And at the time, it was like Adamo was crushing everybody. So I was like, this is how I'm going to master my game after this guy. Like, I'm going to like watch what he does and see. And then like, I seen he's this max aggression, which was like, good. That's what I like to do anyway. So kind of just started playing my game, but with a little more aggression. And then right after the first tournament back was, or Hard Rock had a series in Florida. I think it was the first series or whatever.
Yeah.
But that's when obviously the magic happened for me. I had like $6,000 to my name, and I went down there, played a bunch of prelim 400s, 600s. And I remember I had like $1,400 left, and I was like, well, I got to go home with something, because I'm going to need like, you know, I got to eat, and I'm going to have to be late on my rent, and I'll pay it next month, whatever. I already thought about this, but there was one more 400 satellite, and I was like, got to give it a shot. And got in that 400, sattied into the 3,500 main. And then while I was in that tournament, that's when I got a call from my wife saying, hey, I'm pregnant.
Jesus.
Yeah, it was right in there. And I'm sitting there like, all right, I'm a broke joke in this fucking poker tournament. And
all of a sudden you're starting to fold Jack 10, or?
I doubt it. But I was supposed to have twins originally, so she had like the fainting twin syndrome or whatever. So originally when they did the thing,
ultrasound.
Sorry, fucking drew a blank.
That's good.
I was supposed to have twins, so she calls me and says, "Jesse, we're having twins." Like, and I'm like, "Oh shit!" Like, here we go. But like again, like something in my brain, took over and clicked, and I just completely locked in to a different lock-in level that I've ever been locked in. And, we ended up doing really well in that tournament, got 5th for $250,000. And that one was just crazy because I remember my father too, when there was like 70 people left, he he was following the updates and stuff and knew that I was in it. But there was like the day before with 70 people left, he got a plane ticket from New York and flew down. And he said, I knew you were going to make the final table. He just knew it. So that was like, a really cool moment. And
feels good.
Yeah, I remember there was like 9 people left the night before the final table, and I'm completely running over everybody. I won like my buddy Fred Goldberg. It was funny because of Mizrachi's run. Yeah. He was like sweating me that night. And like I remember the comment he said to me, he's like, I haven't seen anyone play this dominant since Michael Mizrachi, since the grinder. Like, my style. Because I won like 14 out of 16 hands in a row. And I'm chip leader by like going into this final table, it's like $750K up top or something. And again, I had $1,400 in my pocket.
You already got life-changing money locked up.
Yeah, exactly. For me, it was life-changing.
Well, yeah, it could be.
I'm like 3x chip leader, and I'll never forget, like, it was the last hand of the night, and I looked back already, and this was like 30 minutes before I looked back, and my dad was there, and I was like, what the hell? Like, like, what are you doing there? And so I'm just dominating. And the last hand of the night, I ended up bluffing off like all my chips. I was big chip leader, but like to the guy second in chips, like I tried running a triple barrel bluff on him and he flopped a flush and didn't work. And so the next day I came into the tournament like 6 out of 8 instead of like 1 out of 8 by far. And whatever, we ended up getting 5th for $250,000, so it couldn't be mad.
Yeah, you got all those chips for a reason. I mean, shit, you went with your read. Who cares?
Exactly. Yeah. So
I'm sure you didn't get there by just having aces every hand. Yeah. So
no, but I was playing. So I'm not even gonna lie. I remember I was playing like I would have hated me if I was on the other end of it because I was playing so slow and so scared because I was sitting there trying to get. And Darren Elias was at my table, and he won like 4 WPTs. And I remember him, he's like yelling at the floor, can we do something about this kid? Every decision, he's taking 40 seconds. He's obviously doing it on purpose. And I'm sitting there like, yeah, he's right. I'm trying to get this page up, And
I got twins, Darren. Leave me alone.
And I go, Mr. Elias. I'll never forget.
Mr. Elias.
Literally, because, I watched him. I said, Mr. Elias. I said, you've already won 4 of these, buddy. This is my first one, man. I'm just a little nervous. Let me get into the mode. And then he's seen once I got chips, it was completely different. Then I started knocking out everybody. And I was so arrogant. I remember, I just remember one hand, and like, I would never do this now, but it was just the first time. And just my cocky youngness, whatever, I get into a pot with a guy, and huge pot, and I flop a set and get it all in against the guy. It's like queen 5 deuce. He's got king queen. And we get it all in for all the chips. The guy was a maniac too, and I knew I would get him. But we get it all in, and I win the hand, and I like jump up to my buddy on the rail. And at this time, there's all the dividers are up, and you got a mask on.
Oh,
and
shit.
stuff.
Yeah.
All the plastics up, all the dividers. And I jump up to my buddy. I said, I knew I would have him drawing dead. I knew it. I said, I'd finally, like something that freaking out of an old poker movie. I was like, I knew he'd be drawing dead. And the poor guy just busted with like 40 people left in the biggest spot of his life. And my young cockiness is just jumping up, saying that. And it was funny because the guy that I did it to, like we were like battling hard on the table that day. So kind of, in my eyes, I was like, this guy wants to fuck with me. Like, what the fuck? So like when I beat him, I was like, yeah, I knew I'd have him drawn dead. And then after that, me and this guy are like, actually, sorry, I should probably have this close. I just realized it was floating away. Yeah. After me and this guy are really good friends, and we're close now, but he still remembers that moment. Just like, I was like, dude, I'm so fucking sorry. Like, I was like, young adrenaline.
That's when the vanilla gorilla was born.
That is,
well,
yeah.
He was stomping someo's head off the curb.
Well, yeah.
The gorilla's always been there for sure.
Sometimes you got
not in poker, but yeah.
Are you tired of playing with players like this? Not this.
No,
like this? Or this?
Or do you want to play with players like this?
Oh, wait, If you like having fun at the poker table, Table 1 is the game for you. We play high stakes, no limit, 100 blinds. And if you want to get into the game, it's actually super easy. We have a website, table1.vegas. You just go to the website, you click get a seat in the game, and fill out the form. It's that easy. It's your name, it's your phone number, it's the date that you're here, and I will personally reach out to you.
And it's only $5K minimum buy-in. Run it up at 2.5 and join us.
Why don't you reach under your chair there? I got a little something for you.
Gifts? Nifty gifties?
Yeah, I just...
Oh, wow.
My wife made it this morning.
Wow.
So,
A wifey gift.
that's right. She makes t-shirts.
Wow. Put this up for the... What camera's looking at me? This one? Oh. Wow. Wow, I love that. Where's the ice?
Does he really?
Does he really?
I don't know.
Vanilla?
No.
Gorilla. I think your reads are spot on more than mine lately.
No, I love it. I love it. This is definitely going to get worn, at the poker table. Not just a pajama shirt.
Not just a pajama
He's going to clean up after he masturbates.
I get a lot of. I've been getting a lot of merch lately, so half of it goes to pajamas, and this one, and then some gets to the table.
Some makes it to the table.
This will make it to the table.
Okay, good.
Wifey, you're in.
Good job, Art.
Yeah, I just want the world to know, that nickname was coined on this show, although it was first said by Conrad on OnlyFans or OnlyFriends or whatever that show was called.
Oh,
OnlyFriends,
the podcast. Yeah. Thank you. Appreciate it. Tell
Yeah,
Thank you.
I will. Or she can watch this. I know she watches every one.
No, that's good. I know.
She does give a fuck.
So I do want to. That's really awesome, by the way, Art. But I honestly think there should be more enthusiasm, even if it's dumb enthusiasm like that.
Yeah.
In poker, because
yeah,
everyone should have thick skin enough to if you celebrated off to your rail after you busted me. How can I take that personally?
Of course,
you should be excited. Everyone should be excited.
Yeah,
I think poker needs a handful more of those characters and those personalities, as long as it's not directly in your face type stuff.
Of course, yeah. No Will Kassouf, but a little bit of grinder is great.
Exactly. Yeah, the grinder stuff where he's just
this year
he gets bet into and he's just like, let's go.
Yeah, he's sitting there with a flashlight.
He hasn't even made an action. He's telling his rail to fucking get hyped, and he just says, "I raise," and the guy's just like, "Well, you clearly can't have it here." I mean, granted, I'm not folding ace 9 either, but either way,
yeah. The best one for me of the grinder, this WSOP was that he got all in with pocket eights pocket queens versus pocket eights for a huge pot, and the flop hasn't even come out yet, and it's still 20 people left in the tournament, and he's laying on the ground, completely laying, just the tournament's about to be over.
Yeah.
He wins. He's just on the ground laying, eyes closed, and then he wins, and he jumps up, he gets on one knee like he's a Spartan, It was great. He's sitting there like this, on the one knee, man. That was, that you can't, like you said, the emotions compared to
so beautiful.
It's beautiful. Yeah. I mean, I can only hope to be that cool if I make that stage,
Yeah, I guess he's just feeling himself, man. He just won the PPC. He's got nothing to lose.
Oh, dude.
And I'm not saying I've never been wrong before, but when I feel like I'm in the zone, playing good, and whenever I get in a flip, it's the thought of losing the flip doesn't even cross my mind. It's just okay, I'm going to win this. I'm gonna have 98 big blinds. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
I'm gonna position on this guy. I looking down Ace King's not going to beat 2 4s here. What are you talking about?
Board is a formality at this point.
To be in a main event though with 20 people left,
that's
when I'm all in for my life, I'm sitting there nervous. That's the only time is when I'm at risk. But he was at risk, and it was he knew that those 2 outs were never gonna come. He's just laying on the ground, eyes closed, already thinking about the 10 million he's gonna win 2 days later. It was majestic.
Next time I play Poker Go Studio, I think I'm gonna try that. See if it works. It'll be hand 4 or something like that. We'll get it in. We'll see if it works out.
I got when is this gonna get released?
Saturday.
Yeah. Very
okay.
Saturday.
So I can say this. They have because they didn't want to release it until today, but they're doing the MSNBC or whatever, the heads up.
The heads up challenge. Yeah.
Who
NBC?
used to do it? NBC.
Yeah, NBC. Yeah.
Back in the day, it was nostalgic.
I got to play it one year.
You played it? Okay. So when I was young, watching poker videos, that always popped up, and that was a nostalgic tournament, kind of just
for sure.
Yeah, on NBC. So they're bringing it back and they're announcing it today, the lineup or whatever. So I get to play in it, which is kind of like a dream come true in a way. Like it's like really cool.
Is that a 25K?
Yeah.
So I know this podcast is not about me, but I'm going to interject myself here because I am old and I need my story out there every once in a while.
Yeah.
So like this is probably the fifth year that the NBC heads up thing, and like same deal. I watched it. It was on NBC. It was at Caesars.
Yeah.
It was the fucking coolest thing in the fucking world. So
it's like, look at these tiny tables. Just 2 people fed at them in a dealer.
So originally it was just like it was pure invite only.
Yep.
And then the first year they're like, okay, we're gonna have 2 satellites seats into this. And I was like, well, we're fucking doing this. This is great.
Yeah.
So it was a normal like a 8 or 9 handed tournament, and then once you get down to 16 people, you got bracketed, and you got to start with whatever chips you had in front of you, and you just like ran it to the winner.
They should do that again. That's a great idea.
Yeah, I agree. I hope they will.
Yeah,
if they're listening.
Get some. Yeah.
So I get to in the semifinals. I'm playing Eric Baldwin, and at this point, that I kind of like a gorilla. I was just like, me and Eric are best friends, by the way.
Yeah,
and like I know how much better he is at poker. I'm just like,
but
I'm
you ain't beating me this day.
And like I fucking ran him over.
Yeah.
And just like I got lucky, I'm sure, in a few spots. I'm sure Eric would remember better than me.
Yeah.
So I get heads up with this guy, and like I'm still friendly with this guy today, but like he's like, I don't even want to play it.
Yeah.
He's like, why don't you just buy me out, and like I'll just give up my seat to you, this $25,000 seat.
Yeah.
We have the same amount of chips. And I was like, okay, fine. So I was like whatever. Like, what do you think? He was like, just 12.5. That's the thing. I was like, hey, you don't want to play. Like, I'll give you like $11,000. It's like, okay, fine, done. Give him $11,000 to get the seat. And like the whole time, I'm just like, this is amazing. Like, my bankroll's not even that big at this point, but I just paid $11,000 just to play in a tournament I would fucking die to play in.
Of course, yeah.
And then we go. They had a big party. Like, I brought my wife. We dressed with a gown and a suit and all the thing. Like pictures on the red carpet. A lot of like poker, like masturbation, you're just like, like, but like
nobody's watching this.
Yeah. But, like, we get into like the viewing party, and like that's where they announce like the
lineups.
Yeah. The draws or whatever.
Yeah.
And there was like, all right, we got Elke against Justin Young. Must be a qualifier. I'm not really sure who this guy is, but good luck, Justin, because you're playing Elke. I'm just like, fuck, man. Damn it. And I had Elke 14-1. Dominated in chips, and he came back to beat me. Of course, I like part of my excitement was I wanted to be on NBC. I wanted to like tell my friends and family, it's like watch NBC, like noon on Saturday, it's gonna come on.
Yeah.
And the only hand they showed from our entire match was like him beating me the last hand or whatever. And I was like, no, I had him 14-1.
Yeah,
I was crushing him. I promise.
Yeah.
Either way, sorry, that was just my aside. Just
that's great. I know you've told some of that story, but not the full pain. So that's enjoyable to me.
I got to pay $11,000 to mark something off my bucket list. So like I mean, you're gonna have to pay the full price, I guess. But like still, it's an amazing tournament, and like honestly, I kind of miss the old Caesars chips. You remember those? Like, I know you're super young, but like when you watch it on TV,
watching it. Yeah, of course.
The old Caesar chips. I know you remember.
They were good. Yeah, they were solid.
Yeah,
very classic. Just clay, and like it says 1,000 on it or whatever.
That's right.
Maybe just like a little Caesars banner
like
across the top.
The light purple like 500s, like the dark yellow 1000s. They were sexy.
Yeah, no, there was a good chip set for sure.
I'll be done interacting, but like that's awesome. Seriously, like they're bringing it back, and it's awesome. You got invited.
Yeah, I'm excited for that. Yeah, it'll be great.
Sorry, guys.
No, it's okay. Where were we?
Somewhere. I wanted it. I love it. Yeah.
I'm really passionate about poker.
The funny part is now, though, like you said, like you got matched up at Elke. You were like, nowadays it's like if you get matched up at Elke that's a dream spot. It's like
so seek.
Yeah, so it's like Elke or Chidwick.
Yeah.
I think Elke.
All right, so you're about to have twins.
Your bankroll goes 250x from 1,400 to 250K.
Yeah,
like you got like I mean I know.
It was over. That's it.
Yeah, there you
go. Podcast is over. See you later.
Once they gave a kid like me 250,
you know the rest.
No, so now that happens, obviously. So I go back to, I was living in Oregon. So when I moved out west, I made the decision, like I said, I had 60,000, 70,000. I had my best friend, he moved to Oregon right after high school, and he had a big marijuana farm. His cousin like was out there from the start when it boomed up in Oregon, and he was working on the farm. And I went out there and visited him one time, and I was like, okay, this place is awesome. I'm like, weed and wine, you can't beat it, especially for a 20-year-old. I'm like, okay. And I knew that if I moved to Vegas with 60 grand, that a week later I'd have $0 and be broke. So I was like, let me move to Oregon first, be an hour flight away from Vegas, and still have like a relaxing life. And so after I won that money, I went back to Oregon where I was living.
Let's not discount that pain, by the way, because you had 60, 70K. You moved to Oregon. You said by the time you won that tournament, you had $1,400 left.
No, I had six. By the time the tournament started, the series, I had like 6K going down there. So yeah, but
just start
to move. So actually, I can tell you where all that money went. I remember like it was yesterday. I had the 60K and I drove across the country. Every night I would stop at a casino and stay, and I would play cash games. So for like the first 4 nights, I'm playing like 2-5, 1-2 across country. I didn't lose. I'm booking $280 win here, paying for my hotel, $400 win here. And then I got to Black Hawk, Colorado, right? And they had a huge, so there they had a cap, $100 max bet. Okay. So I get there, I come into Black Hawk. I don't know if you guys ever been there.
I have.
Okay. So when the first time going for me from New York, this was my open to the West. And it's like the most beautiful place ever when, it was like the skies were purple and I come into this casino town in the middle of the Rocky Mountains and I'm like, what is this? You know what I mean? This is heaven.
Is this heaven? Yeah.
Yeah, literally. No, it felt like it. So I went to the Ameristar there and they had 30-60 limit games. Was like, they'd have like 6 tables of this. And I'm like, wow, I'm in limit heaven too. Like I'm a limit player. Yeah. This is great. And then they had a 2-5 max bet, $100 on each street.
Each street, yeah.
Yeah, but it could go bet 100, raise 200, raise 300. Right. So then I was like, all right, let me play this game.
That's kind of like limit too.
Yeah, exactly. I play this game and like every hand was like raise 100, 200, 600. It'd be like, yeah, whatever. So by the time you got to flop, it was an amazing game. But that night, I remember I lost. I just kept going. I lost more and more and more. And like, I think I lost like 11,000 or something out of my 60K roll. Yeah. So already I was like, okay, this isn't great, And like I said, the first 4 nights I won like plus $980, So I'm sitting there, I'm going to win every night. And then I go there, I lose 11,000. I'm like, all right, let's pack it up. I stayed there for a day longer. I remember I stayed there, was only going to stay that night. The next day, I'm like, no, I was down like 4 or 5K. I'm like, babe, we got to stay. I got to get these guys.
One more night.
I said, they're bad. Trust me. Whatever. They were bad, but I was
I'll show them bad.
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, then I got to Oregon and I had to find a place to rent. And I remember I had put money down and they had a local card room. I lost more money there and just getting life expenses and stuff like that. Before you know it, that money was like gone. And I think I traveled to Vegas once or twice too, flew down there, lost both times. So the money was just,
it's not hard, man.
It's not hard. Exactly.
Just as Justin says, to bring it back to myself, I had like back-to-back like years where I made like 300K each year, but like then I broke even for 2 years and then it was gone.
Exactly.
It's like
life's expensive. And so that's where the money went, obviously. Yeah. So by the time I had 6K, but when I moved back or when I came back to Oregon after that tournament, now I had like 240K. And I remember I went to the bank there, and this is in Medford, Oregon. And I went there and I had cash. I took all cash. And first time, of course, yeah. And I went to the bank there and put like 150K on the table to put in the bank. And they're looking at me. This is in Medford where like there's a lot of weed, illegal weed farms and stuff. So they're thinking I'm just like this. I'm like, no, I just won a poker tournament. They're like, what? Like they never seen that there. And I was like, yeah, like, and I had the proof, so it was cool. Yeah. But I still remember that first time. They're like getting come back here. We got, they're probably getting ready to call the cops.
Could have taken a check, son.
Yeah, for sure, but no way.
No way. Yeah. I never know what's gonna come up. I might need this money.
Yeah, and
I love it.
And so then that happened. And then, so I was just chilling, playing. I was traveling to Vegas again, playing cash games. When I would travel to Vegas, I would go to the Bellagio and I would play the limit game there, 2040 and then 4080. And I actually became good friends with Ronnie Barta at the time because he was always there. Yeah. And we became we became really close. And, he he's seen a lot of talent in me right away, obviously too, and well, not obviously, but
obviously, guys, obviously. Anyone that's looking sees talent.
I didn't mean it like that, but he was just telling me that that I had some skills, and I said I need to move to Vegas because it was about time my kid was about to pop out. So I get a house in Vegas. I got hooked up with. I had another poker friend who hooked me up with a tax guy here, and that tax guy, Ray Conler. I mean, everyone knows Conler. He has a booth at the WSOP.
Yeah.
Really good for taxes. Highly recommend him for anyone. He hooked me up with a mortgage lady, and I heard about how impossible it was to get houses for poker players. And I was thinking I was going to be drawn dead, but somehow they were like, put 20% down and you're good. And so I put 20% down, and boom, I bought my house in Vegas and moved here. And again, now I had like no money because now I put a lot down on the house, and
you got a kid,
and I got kids on the way, but I was in Vegas and I knew that I could make it if I just was here and like had like a solid foundation.
What year was that about?
2021 probably.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's when I started actually, now I was grinding tournaments a lot. I had a little more money, and and then that's kind of where
that's where the check mark started.
Yeah, exactly. I started winning and winning.
I will say your Hendon Mob or card player or whatever site you go to, like is one of the favorite I've had to sweat, like research wise, like before a podcast, because like a lot of people are just like, oh, okay, they grind and all of a sudden they hit for something else and like everything's fine. Yours is just like 200, 400, 200, 400, 600, 800, 400, 200, 800, and then all of a sudden it's like 1,000, 2,000, and like you're just like teetering, and all of a sudden it's like, but it's still so constant. It's just like like there was no like massive like boom until like 2023 or 24 or something like
PLO,
that, right? Which is it's just really cool to see. Like it's a true grinders like Hendon Mob, which is beautiful to watch.
Yeah, I think playing the highest stakes now, where I see the failure is a lot of these guys come in and they've been studying and they're the best sim guy in the world and people will brag about them, but then they get thrown into the jungle and they're playing for and I'm picking up so many live tells on them because they're not used to sitting at a poker table, and I'm just when I can just tell when they have it every time and when they're bluffing every time, and they fail. It's because you have to, I feel like in poker you can't just jump to the highest level. You have to start 500s to 1Ks to 2Ks to 5Ks to 10Ks. You got to get comfortable at every buy-in level just for the physical things and just you got to be able to play 150K buy-in and bluff just like you're playing a $500 buy-in, and you can't have any second guess on your decision. You have to be able to go with that, and that's where
that's got to be fucking difficult. Like we had
Seth Davies.
Yeah, exactly.
I was thinking the same thing.
Where Seth Davies came on and he said what he likes to do to the new people that haven't played a lot of live poker, but they're obviously very skilled, is like tell them in the tournaments where one chip equals $1 on the buy-in, like you play a 300K, this is 300K in chips, and then by like the day two, he's like, every chip you're betting is an actual dollar.
You just read that means to 50,000 actual dollars. Did you realize that? Like he literally said that. I was like,
anyways, good luck being calm next hand.
Davies did that. I think he knew that it wasn't going to work on the gorilla. He never did that one to me. I was already blasting, bluffing his face off. Like I was like, good luck. I don't care. I don't care to die.
I guess it's more for the online Euro types.
Exactly.
He doesn't want a fellow American. Come on.
No, I love Davies. I love all the Americans. Exactly. Like, it's like
Oregon guy too. Yeah,
we should do a date. I mean, not that Davies just made me think Davis Cup. We should do like a Davis Cup for poker. Euros versus Americans.
Yeah, of course.
That would be sick.
Didn't they used to have that?
Yeah, they
really?
Did. Yeah,
they used to have the teams.
There were so many cool gimmicky things that like poker tried that I don't think we were quite ready for. There was even there was a city team, like whatever. I know Moneymaker was one of the captains, like whatever. Every city like got to like draft like out of their region or whatever and compete.
I kind of remember this.
And then, and then there was the country one as well, like a Davis Cup type thing.
I think it would be great now because poker's grown so much that like there's so many, Japan could have a full team, China could have a full team,
and really good teams. Really
exactly,
good
there would be
teams.
5 quality players they could each pick.
It's also cheap enough to like make content to like try.
Of course, that would be fun.
You can just gamble and be like, all right, I'm gonna throw whatever 50,000 at this idea.
Yeah.
See if it works. If it doesn't, I mean, maybe even less.
I mean, whatever. Like, I don't know if it was on YouTube, but like the Gold Rush, or the Gold something.
The Game of Gold.
Game of Gold. Thank you.
Oh, that was
like
great.
that was so fun to watch, and
Yeah.
it couldn't have cost that much to like put together or whatever.
It may have.
Yeah, there's some-
I mean,
That
the production was
was
good.
pretty good.
It was pretty good.
Did
But
they
like,
get Ali? I heard he's pricey.
Yeah. Hey, Ali Najad.
yeah, he's a goat.
All right, we should probably get to high stakes at some point.
Might as well. All right, so
So you moved to Vegas. You're
Yeah.
broke again, but you're
Yeah.
grinding your way up.
I'm always broke. Yeah, no, I'm kidding. You're always broke till you're not, right?
That's exactly right.
This is the life of the gambler, which is I don't know. It's kind of the theme of our show. It's literally that. Is
Of
like if
course.
you're a true gambler, like you're always kind of broken, then
Yeah.
until you have that one huge stretch or whatever.
Yeah.
It's
I mean,
beautiful.
so I didn't get to before the high stake, the degenerate story. I bought my house in Vegas. Whatever. Again, I had the $250K from the score. That money again was going quick, and by the time I remember the World Series started, and this was going to be my first WSOP, and I had like $10,000 to my name again, and or maybe a little more, but I put $10K in.
He had equity in his house, guys.
Yeah, I had equity in my
Yeah.
house, exactly. And I was like, I could probably find a backer maybe if I need one. At this time, I didn't have anything. I'm playing all on my own still, and yeah, I put $10K into the sports book. I actually told this story on one of my reels the other day, and I ran the $10K up to $190K. And
What
yeah,
were we betting?
I don't. Dude, I can't tell you one of the bets on there.
Was it sharp stuff or like your stuff?
This is all me. Yeah,
beautiful.
And yeah, it was.
It can
all,
still be sharp, and just
Yeah, I mean, I knew where the public was at. That's
Okay.
about, I always
Fair
know where the
enough.
public's at. Yeah, so I ran up to 190K, and I used that for my role for WSOP that year, and I didn't sell any action, kept 100% of myself. And the first event was a COVID relief event. It was my very first WSOP World Series event, and I got second place against Jeremy Osmus. So it was my very first event, and I'm heads up, and I'm like, dude, Helmuth only has 17 of these. This is my first one. I'm about to have a bracelet, my first one. So I'll have 17 by next year. I'm sitting there. I still remember.
how many tournaments are there?
Yeah.
there's like 90 of them, and like, all right, yeah, I can space it out. I can get 15 this year.
Exactly. So I'm heads up with Osmus. I got him dominated. He ends up coming back, beating me. He wins that tournament. It starts his heater. And I always say, like, that started your heater, because after that, Osmus won, like, everything.
We have a strong saying here on the pod.
Yeah.
Fuck Jeremy Osmond.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
sorry, you're too good. at
exactly. So
everything.
fuck Jeremy
Continue.
Osmus here. He fucked the young kid from his first event, winning first race.
Yeah, This could have been the next Phil Helmuth.
Exactly. Could have had. Yeah.
Go ahead. Big fan of Jeremy Osmond. We all love him. But yeah.
No, see, Jeremy, I want everyone to know this for all the real people. Jeremy is the nicest guy, whatever. If you ever get in a group chat with this guy, he's pure evil. Okay? No one knows this unless if you're in a group chat with him, he's the most condescending. He'll take these needles and shots that you won't believe. Like you won't even believe it's him. You'll think someone took his phone. But yeah, he looks all nice, smiling, family guy. Don't believe that shit. It's
I love
not
this.
real.
Oh, I believe it.
not real.
I definitely believe it.
So now I get second in this tournament, but it was only for like 38,000 or something, because it was a small whatever. And then the next day there's like a 25K heads up tournament.
Satellite in already.
Yeah, I'm already in.
Yeah.
I played
can't win
that.
17 if I don't play this one.
Yeah, exactly. So I played that. I won my first round matchup. Second round I played Galliaford. Same thing against your Elkie. I had him outshipped like 12-1. And then boom, he came back, won every hand, beat me. And that money was gone. By the third day, I was already down money, because then there was like a 10K and I bought in twice. And so now I'm already back. After getting second place in my first event, by day 3, I'm in the red again. So now by the end of the series, I'm back down to $20,000. I play like all these high rollers. I brick everything. I have 20 grand back to my name. And the main event was the last tournament, or not the last, but whatever. And obviously we don't sell any. We take 100%.
You're damn right.
And now I get 25th in Maine that year. So for $250,000. But again, I had 100% of myself, and I'm sitting there, 30 people left. I'm chip leader, my very first main event. There's like 32 left. I remember looking at chip counts. I'm number 1. And I'm going, all right. So
how Stu Unger only have 3 of these?
Yeah. I'm sitting there like, all right. I was already literally at the time I was talking to a friend about little islands you could buy. So I was already thinking about the little island I was gonna buy, and I was gonna be like done a poker and like take the 8 million, and it was all mine. I was like, I'm just gonna be out of here. Like I'm just gonna fucking chill. I'll come play some cash games maybe. I get 25th, so whatever. Corey Aldemir knocks me out. He wins the main event that year, and yeah, that was the last time that I went from 250 to like almost nothing. After that, I kind of did pretty good with myself. I went low, but not that low. It was.
So did you start selling, or you just like continued the heater or whatever?
No. So I was just still playing on my own, and then Hard Rock had another series down there, and this time I went down, and they had a 25K on the schedule. Huh?
No, go ahead. Yeah, I remember reading about this. But yeah.
Okay, yeah, they had a 25K on the schedule and stuff, and my buddy there, again, Fred Goldberg, his friend there, he was like a high roller, played a lot of baccarat, stuff like that. Still my friend to this day. And he like said, prove to me or whatever that you're, to give you a shot, like make a couple runs. And like, I did well that series or whatever. And then 25K happened and he backed me for that. And it was the first tournament that I got backed at all for. And I remember so it's my first 25K, and I remember Sean Perry, he raises the button, and I'm in a small blind, 2 black aces. I 3-bet. Now he like min 4-bets me, and I was at the time I was like, this is my first 25K. I'm not even gonna fuck around here. I'm all in. He snap calls. He's got aces. We both got aces. He runs out a 4 flush. Yeah, it takes me down to like 3 big blinds. I end up coming back from the 3 big blinds, and I'm like chip leader. By the end of the day, I'm like chip leader, like 2 off the money. And now I'm playing like a gorilla. Yeah. And then I end up bubbling. And I remember Bryn Kenny sends me out the door, like on the bubble, like in a hand where like he was just like, yeah, he's got like 70 million in earnings. Yeah, see you later, man. And I'm sitting there like, yeah, I'm fucking breathless. Like, I'm like, oh my God, I ruined my shot. Like, you know what I mean? But it happened just to be the beginning, and obviously he's seeing my backer that I got screwed with aces, still almost came back and did well. So that was the start of my high roller career. And then after that, now I started playing 10Ks at Poker Go and 25Ks, and eventually I got into the groove pretty quickly with the high rollers. I knew that people actually folded. That was the beautiful thing, is that like with the bigger buy-ins, and now my bluffs are actually working. Like people when they're buying in for 25K, they actually fold, So,
right, guys, move up where they respect your raises.
That's the truth.
Yeah, and like we talked a lot about this in our sweat of the grinder with his run.
Yeah,
like not only the PPC and the main event, obviously, but like you get in these freeze outs where people actually care so much about their tournament lives. Of
course,
people like Grinder, they can crush.
Exactly,
because like if you genuinely do not care about your tournament life, you can ruin people's lives.
Of course,
it's beautiful. It is so nice. I mean, I'm just saying, like Grinder, and like I wouldn't stake Grinder in a $500 daily at the Venetian.
Yeah,
but I would pay 200% markup every day for a freeze out, like where people actually care about this stuff.
I agree completely.
Yeah,
and
that's true, and that's how poker used to be when there was like one event on the schedule, and then like if you bust, you have to go play cash game. You
could take real advantage of that.
Yeah. I mean, this is before like you got into poker, or whatever, but like it was all freeze outs for the longest time.
Of
like
course,
the rebuy wasn't even a thing until probably 2012 or something like that. It was just sad times. You bust, you just go home.
And luckily, so for now we play there's a tournament every month where you could win $1 million plus easily now, maybe even more. And for me, I get to play a lot of them. So again, a lot of people that come and play these tournaments, they only get to play a select few. So I can take advantage of this, like knowing that, I can 4-bet this guy with King 4 off right now, and he's going to fold like jacks, like, minus, or, he's going to call Queens plus, but like everything else, he's just going to let go. So,
it's like a rebuy for him, except his is delayed by like 2 days or something like that. Exactly. That's all. Yeah. All.
He gets to put the Mizrahi effect on people.
Yeah.
So I guess just because people don't really talk about this on these types of shows too often, but so you've stuck with this guy for a while, the backer, like you.
Oh yeah. And then people ask me that now, luckily I've never, I've been into makeup, but I've always, like, when I've had my big scores, I've had like not much red at all. So I've made enough money to go on my own a bunch, but the stability and the fact that he had confidence in me when I didn't have anything, people always ask, why don't you just play on your own completely now? It's like, I would rather, obviously for the variance reasons too, I can just lock up my money and I don't have to risk anything of mine. And for the fact that when I didn't have it, he was there. I'm a loyal guy. I don't think that, I think that he should be there still reaping the rewards and stuff now. And
I like that. That's
yeah. So he's been with me the whole time. And like, obviously
doesn't hurt that like your sun run was with that money behind you. So
exactly.
like, you're like, all right, well, why fix what's not broken?
Yeah. And for me, it's a dream situation because a lot of people, when I play my lower buy-ins, I get to keep all myself, and then just my high rollers, my 25K, my bigger buy-ins are on stake and stuff. So it's actually like a dream
25
situation.
plus.
It's like a dream situation where, you need big pockets behind you for a lot of these big events. And
yeah, you could go on a Chris Brewer like run at any moment and just you don't want to lose it all. You worked hard for that shit.
Of course. Yeah.
That is true. Man. So this guy hasn't like batted an eye. Like you said, you haven't been too much in the red, like, during this stretch or whatever. But like,
no, just like anybody, I've had my cold streaks. Like, so I went to Monte Carlo and I had a good Monte Carlo. Yeah. And then after Monte Carlo, I think I won the 50K there for my first trading title for like 1.5 or whatever. And then after that, they had the Bahamas where they had like a bunch of 100Ks, 50Ks. And even though it was like 4 tournaments, I lost like 750K. So now my red, boom, is like 750. In like a 4-month period, I went, just on a little downswing, and it wasn't many buy-ins, but how big they are, I was in like a $1.6 million red, which is the most I've ever been in. And luckily for me, I feel like that's where separates the greats and good players, is that when I was in 1.6, I don't think of it like, oh, I got to make this. I just play my game no matter what and just keep putting it in. And then I remember I went to EPT and my red was 1.6. Now I'm playing a 10K. First place is 260K. And whatever, I ended up doing well, and I had a few scores for like 400K total probably at EPT, like, or I took 400K off my red or whatever.
Sure.
So now going into the Triton there, I was in like a $1.2 million red. And the cool thing about this Triton, the last one too, is I didn't even get any fun. I played a tournament. I was in EPT and I saddied into a 10K on GG for 1K. And that 1K, I won a 10K for like 300K. It was streamed on GG right before Montenegro. So I took that 300K crypto and used that for my bankroll for money, Montenegro. So it was kind of, and then I won like 5 million at Montenegro this last stop, but it was all from like this 1K GG Saddy with all the crypto. I used that 300 and turned it into 5 mil. So it's kind of like 1K to 5 million, which was pretty cool. And, and like I said, I had 1.2 mil red when I started and I took a few off, but by the time I won like a 40K mystery bounty. So then I was back in a profit, like 600K. And then when that main event happened and my red was 0. So then I won main for like
3.5 or something. Yeah.
Exactly. So I get to keep half of that right in the pocket.
For those that don't know, he has like over $21 million, $22 million in earnings. So at least, it's even though like in 18, 19, 20s playing these $500 tournaments, and now we're just,
it's been a few years, obviously he's a gajillionaire now.
I think it's cool that even whatever relationship you have with your backer, he was just like, 1.6, that's fine.
Yeah.
Here's another like chunk.
Yeah. It was,
I'm sure you made him plenty before that.
Exactly. He was already, even with that 1.6, he was still in the green.
Yeah.
From, the few years before
or
whatever. But yeah, it can happen like that quick. And the thing is, I was playing bigger than I ever played now. So like when I had my big scores before, my first big score for the 50K PLO, that was my first 50K I ever played. The first one I ever won.
Wow.
Yeah. So before that, my biggest buy-in was 25K, and I didn't play him that much. But the 50K PLO, when I won huge there. So kind of we started off like plus 50x buy-ins and 50Ks. So luckily we started off nice and hot, which is good.
And hot.
Yeah.
That's how you treat your backers, Art.
What?
Sorry, I still kind of back Art.
It's true. It's true. He still buys some pieces.
Granted, he took a big chunk. Again, bring it back to us a little bit here.
Hey, congrats to you, man.
Yeah.
On the summer, you had a better summer than me, man. You did well.
I didn't play any 250Ks, but
yeah, both your runs were at the win.
I just had one run.
Oh, was it one
win?
run?
Yeah.
I mean, I cashed the main, so
Oh yeah, you
out
had
of
in the main too. I seen that.
Out of my 5 or 6 tournaments I played, I did cash 2 of them, but
the win
did
one
manage
was crazy.
Dude, yeah, I don't know if you saw the names of the final table. It's fucking
I watched
genius.
Oh yeah, I was watching.
hard to pronounce means they're very good.
Like they're really good players. And Art's there and is fucking like.
Yeah, I was the whale of the last 25 people for sure. I was looking around like, channel my inner Lonis. Come on.
Hey,
almost worked.
Still 7th place. I mean,
it's amazing.
Yeah,
it was good. Ran queens and aces twice at the final table. Felt great.
Yeah.
But still my biggest score ever. And I was not feeling great before that. I lost like 200K in cash in June, and
nice.
getting 360 back is amazing.
Yeah.
So
that's where tournaments are nice, where like cash games obviously cash games are more consistent and nice, but like when you have a bad,
depends how you play them.
It's funny. I seen Nick Airball, and we were in line buying into the 100K PLO, and I was like, bro, have you ever played a tournament? He's like, dude, it's my first fucking tournament. He's like, I need first to get even though. I think I'm down like 2 million this summer or something crazy. I was like, yeah, but that's a good thing. This 100K bullet can get all that money back for 3 months of bad run. You've done it. Well,
I
you love it. You'll play cash game and you'll come in a tournament when you're probably running bad and boom.
Way too bad. Like this is probably 4 years ago. I think I had a very bad start to my summer. I can't remember how much I was down, but it was probably $250,000 or something like that. But like I was playing at Bellagio, and I was even down. I was down like 20K, and I was like, "Fuck this! What's going on right now at the World Series?"
Yeah.
It's like day 1 of the World Series. Look down, 100K buy-in bounty. I'm like, I'm fucking in. I don't care. I'm Freddie Deeves at my table, and like I'm just like, Freddie, I'm gonna go play this tournament. He's like, I'm gonna go with you. I was like, get the fuck out of here. All right, oh, already softer. This is great. So like we both go over there, and like we register at the same time. They're prolonging the start of it because there's only like 8 people registered, and it's just fucking Kuhn and Cornuth and just everyone that's a killer. And like,
the buy-in was 100K buy-in?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So we have to wait around for it to like kind of fill up a little bit. And I'm like, fuck, I regret my decision immediately.
Of course.
So I went to the bar immediately and got sloshed before it even started. And like, to your point, like I treated this 100K buy-in like it was a fucking 500 daily of Venetian. I was like, I know these guys care about this. I am just gonna, and like I fucking 4-bet the 7 deuce and showed it and like got 0 reaction. Remember, I was like, this is my tournament.
Yeah.
Like they are not going to enjoy me if I get chips. And like I didn't even cash the tournament. I got 6 bounties and like whatever chance like end up fucking me like on the money bubble.
Of course.
Queens versus Ace Jack for like 80 blinds. Who cares? Whatever. It's not a big deal.
He's over it.
But like I know that feeling of like, to Art's point, it's just like, sometimes you're just so buried and not even desperate, but just get that like,
I think it's good.
Fuck you energy.
It's good to do a switch up too, and when you always got to switch the energy, whatever you can do. Like
I agree with that. Yeah, because something's not working, you don't want to keep doing it. You definitely don't want to keep doing it.
Speaking of cash, when are you guys playing? You been playing your game a lot right now?
Now it's a little bit slow. We were running. I think we took 2 or 3 days off during the summer, but we were running every day, and like I would say maybe a quarter of the days we were running 2 games. So it was stressful, but good.
Yeah.
Like,
well, I had a couple weeks. I want to come play one of these nights.
You should.
Whenever you guys decide to play.
We have I think you have a seat anyway, but like we have a constant rule. Like if you score for 6 figures, you have 24 hours and you have a seat in our game, no matter what.
No questions asked.
Okay.
But like, I mean, for you, that's like Tuesday. I mean, it's
he's
like I mean, I almost won that last night playing 2550 PLO online. I was grinding last night. I was just playing that circuit ring and that 2550 PLO up. Like, gosh, huh?
Was that on WSOP as well? Okay.
Yeah.
Who were you playing?
Huh?
Who were you playing?
I don't know. It was full game.
Full game. Oh shit.
I think that the game built around me.
Dangerous sat down and
no, there was one guy. this is what always happens though, which I never like with online like cash games. So it's 25.50. I see the lobby. There's one guy sitting down at 25.50, and then he was sitting at 5,100, but it was like 5 card, 6 card. I only like 4 card. I don't do anymore. And so I play at 25.50. As soon as I sit down, not even 20 seconds later. No, not the full table. Just a guy sits right to my left. And I'm always like, this don't feel right. So I'm playing with these guys for a little bit. It was like 5K cap is buying.
Okay.
But I'm down like 12K like right off the bat. So I'm in for 17,000 now. And now the game's starting to fill up slowly. It's like people were watching, seeing me punt off. And then like an hour later, now I got like all the money on the table and I'm fucking everybody up now. And it was just funny though, because I swear those lobbies every time, like I'll sit down, then it's like a whole fucking, like you said, like it's just, I just don't get it.
They never sit to the right of the guy who was already sitting there.
No, but you would think they would, I mean, I don't know.
They should
but you think they would know my name, and it's not like I'm a fish, you know what I mean? Yeah. But I guess they just think that I'm just going to give all the action.
Action. I think that's more what it is. I think,
and I was giving it.
These, if you know someone's going to be like repopping a lot, probably you want to be on their left, maybe.
Yeah, no. It's just,
I mean, I used to do it back in like 2004 as well. Like,
just wait for the lobby, wait for someone.
Yeah, I would sit 200, 400, but like I would literally have one bullet in my pocket. Like I'm playing with like people I know are better than me, like Hanson and Golf On and all that. But I would just be like, okay, I'm gonna wait for this guy to get a little stuck. I'm gonna sit down on his left. I got one bullet. Try to double up or leave. That's literally what I was doing.
It's smart because it definitely, I'm definitely giving action. I was stuck 12K and they all realized that and they all sat down. Luckily, I started dominating the game, but it was
which happens more than most. I think everyone kind of overestimates the tilt of like players, especially like yourself or whatever. Like that they have a little more thicker skin to like handle a 12K loss.
Of course, yeah.
Well, poker wouldn't be a thing if everybody knew.
For me,
how much they're winning.
I like it. Yeah, when I was down 12, I'm like, nice. Now I can actually have fun.
Now this guy leaves, I have a chance.
Well, I can try to get it back. That's part of the thrill. Like, all right, let's see if I can get even. And then, it's nice.
All right, I guess we should. You've been on the social media. You're promoting some stuff now. What are we working on?
So I have I got signed by the poker royalty, Brian Barlsborough. You guys know him or whatever.
Yeah, I DM'd him, tried to get him on the podcast. He said, I've only done one, and it's because D-Negs forced me to.
Yeah.
He's not big on the getting himself out there. He just helps his players.
So he's a great guy, obviously. I got luck, I got very fortunate to get in with, he's the agent for all the best guys in poker kind of. So I got very fortunate there. But just wanted to try to get my content, social media followings up because I'm trying to get a sponsorship with one of the bigger brands. So that's a key thing nowadays. They want you to have eyes and numbers because you're promoting their business. So it's just, I'm not a huge fan in doing it all, but I kind of, the more I'm doing it, the more I like it because I'm getting a lot of feedback from people saying, oh, I love this stuff. You're teaching me a lot, whatever. Like, so it's cool to do that, but some of it can be really corny, but
as long as you're still true to yourself. Cause like I felt the same way when we even started this thing and like, whatever, I'm a Phenom ambassador and I felt the same way about that.
Yeah.
And it's just like, as long as I'm still just me and they like me for me, then this is a good match. But like,
exactly.
if you don't, as long as you don't feel forced to like be someone different.
Yeah. And well, that's what I said when I started doing it. Like the guy that I had work for me, the manager, I said, I don't want my everyday life to change really. I want to do what I'm doing. I said, I'll do some videos and stuff, but like, I'm not going to be the guy that's going to be like filming the beat. Like, I can't do that. Yeah. I'm not going to film my hands. If I got a guy all in, I can't do it. I'm sorry. God bless Rampage and all those guys. And I love them, but it's just like I can't be that guy,
Luckily, a lot of your tournaments are on TV anyway, so you can just have a guy clip it out.
And that's what's nice. That most of my content, it's just videos of, and luckily Poker Go and Triton, they spend hundreds of thousands on their production, so I'm getting like very high quality video clips there without nothing, which is nice.
No, that is
great. They've done enough promoting and using my name to make money. So I think it's pretty fair if I use a couple clips of theirs. Right?
It's definitely mutually beneficial. Exactly. And like this content flywheel, it just works, man. And you just look at a guy like D-Negs who just used to say yes to everything. And then now like, if he didn't want to play poker at all, he'd be set anyway.
Or I've seen or Doug Polk's story, like he did the content, made like, I forget the number, but he made like $500,000 in content, put that into a real business. Now his real business is worth millions. It's like,
yeah, exactly. Just point your thing at the right money making thing, and it comes back to you. So and the other good thing about YouTube specifically is like you just talk, and the people who identify like with you, they tend to follow you and like you, and you don't have to really do anything different. You just make what's cool to you, and hopefully it's cool to them.
Yeah. So it's it's a weird thing because like it starts off so slow and stuff, so you kind of feel like, am I really getting anywhere? But eventually, hopefully something clicks, and then you get a good following and whatever. Yeah.
Okay. Well, speaking of, where can people follow Jesse Lonis?
I mean, I have the Twitter or X or whatever, Twitter, the Bluebird.
Fuck you, Elon, changing the name.
Yeah, I know.
We're calling it Twitter from here on out.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, guys.
Yeah.
We're just sorry.
Yeah. So I got Twitter.
What's your name on Twitter?
Jesse Lonis. It's pretty easy.
Dangerous 22.
Nah, Jesse Lonis. And then IG, Instagram, can follow me on there. Same thing, just real name. And I did a YouTube channel now where I streamed. The other day I streamed one of my online sessions, which was pretty fun. I had like, a couple hundred viewers and stuff, and people were asking questions while I was playing. So that was a cool little thing. I should have did it last night. It would have been fun with the PLO game.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah, people would have loved it.
I was like, so I'm playing this $500 tournament. Also, I'm about to fuck people over here.
Yeah.
Nice.
No, I had. Yeah, it was fun. But
that's YouTube, or that's like
that's
Twitch?
YouTube.
Okay.
So again, just my name. So pretty much YouTube, Twitter, Instagram's pretty much what I'm working with right now. And yeah, just trying to build the following on there. Feel free to follow.
I don't think it's gonna be that hard. I think you'll build it up, and I'm sure you're gonna get a flood of offers coming in.
Yeah.
So what is on the horizon? Like, I know you're addicted to poker.
Yeah.
You're basically how I was when I was 29. So
yeah.
Like, what's like? I'm sure you're already planning your next 4 trips.
So I there is a lot of things coming up. I don't ever plan like more than like a week ahead. That's just how I am. But I know the series that are coming up that I'm gonna play. Most likely, they have. I'm still not sure. They have the Cyprus series that came out. It's a bunch of high rollers there. I think Rob Young is the one running it. They have buy-ins from 10K to 100K buy-ins. They have like an invitational thing there. It's kind of like a Triton type thing that they're trying to do. That's the same time as the Florida series, so I haven't decided if I'm going to play Florida or go there. I'd rather go there for the buy-ins, but the travel kills me.
Plus, like, you love good memories in Florida.
And I got good memories in Florida. So either that, and then I'm going to go Barcelona, EPT.
That's tough to miss.
Yeah, because I'm trying to play all. I love PokerStars, the brand, the way they run their tournaments. That would be I would love to get signed by them. So like, I'm trying to keep playing their tournaments. And
do you bring the family along on these European trips and stuff? I know you got 3 little girls, right?
Yeah, 3 girls. So my youngest was kind of too young. We just got her passport in actually. And Jeju. So after Barcelona, there's Jeju. And I'm taking them this time to Jeju for the Triton series because there's like an amusement park there, a water park on property. And it's kind of a spot where you get bored if you don't have family there because there's only so much you can do as an adult really on Jeju Island. And it's just like, so I'll be taking the whole family for that one. For the Bahamas, I always take them there for the last 2 years. So I'll take them again in the winter for the Bahamas and stuff. So pretty much this year, I plan on, right now I'm still number 1 ranked for the GPI and Player of the Year. So I really want to, last year, the last week of the thing, David Coleman passed me from like a score that they found like 3 months prior.
Oh no.
That was never there. Like his buddy found it. So like I thought I was going to win Player of the Year last year and I got passed and there was no more events I could play to even try to pass them.
Oh, that sucks. You can't even like gear up for
exactly
anything.
Do you think he knew it on like December 21st and waited till
they
the
may.
31st?
let's not release this.
Yeah, I want to doubt it probably. But that was kind of like whatever. I was happy for him. I'm friends with Coleman too, but it was like it kind of made me hungry this year to get it done. So this year I'm going to go really hard, try to finish out, play all these big series, and then after the year ends, I'm going to play less poker, as in I'm only going to play like the bigger buy-ins and travel because my kids are getting older. My oldest is going to be 4 in September. So just getting to the age where they're going to remember a lot more. So, yeah, I'm going to go hard this year and then cut it back a lot and just play high rollers and just a few stops that I have to play more than like this year I'm playing still 1K, 3K, stuff like that. So
I like that plan. Cool. Yeah, it sounds like you do think more than a week ahead.
Yeah. I've thought about this for a while. That I really want to try to win the Player of the Year. You know,
anyways, disregard that Poker Stars. He's going to play a lot. Sign him.
Yeah. Hey, if they sign me, I'll be at all their stuff.
Okay. Any closing words? Anything you want to, shout out to that guy who fucked you in the WSOP and made it so you lost money this year or anything?
Well, no, it's okay. My WSOP this year, again, it was, I played 200K buy-ins, 100K PLO. I was in for 2 bullets, minus 200K there, 100K no limit, minus 200K, and the 250K was minus 250K. So my 3 high roller tournaments, I was minus 650K, and I won a tournament, a 25K buy-in and a 15K buy-in for like 700K total. So I still end up losing a little bit on the year or on the summer, but I was very happy to get most of it back. It was kind of like I played satellites for the high rollers and bricked them all.
Fucking wild.
But like it's literally one hand on the bubble of the 250K, like 4 off. I get queens all in versus ace king of Chris Brewer for a chip lead pot. If I win this hand, I make 3 to 5 million maybe on the summer instead. I lose a little bit. And that's the beauty of high stakes poker, is that literally one equity hand can make it from you having a $2 million plus Seth Davies summer to having a negative 700K summer like your boy the Gorilla. No, that's about it. Very blessed, very happy. Shout out to my family, friends, anyone that watches, and thanks for having me on.
Oh, dude, thank you. Seriously, this was a lot of fun. This was I don't know. I think we've had a string of like ones I've been really excited about doing, and I'm happy to continue it. This has been great. Thank you.
All right, that's the pod.
Thanks, guys.
Me and my buddy, we making all of this money. Yeah, I know it's rude to be bragging. They never catching us slacking.